So the question is, in my opinion, do I feel as if this pandemic will cause an increase in the incidences of anxiety disorders, an increase in the severity of the symptoms of anxiety disorders, or a decrease in those? Overall, I do believe that this pandemic will cause an increase in the incidences of anxiety disorders, and it will also cause an increase in the severity of the symptoms of most anxiety disorders. However, looking at a disorder such as social anxiety disorder or social phobia, such as Ben talked about, I do believe with that particular disorder, the severity of the symptoms will actually decrease, because right now we're being told to stay in our houses, to stay away from people as much as possible. So for someone experiencing social anxiety disorder, they're not being put in a stressful situation where they have to be involved in social communication, social interaction. Therefore, you're taking away their triggers for their anxiety disorder. Therefore, you're decreasing the severity of their symptoms. However, looking at other anxiety disorders such as panic disorder, PTSD, generalized anxiety disorder, and so forth, I do believe that this pandemic will cause an increase in the incidences and the severity of the symptoms, especially for these people who already have the disorder. If they can't participate in their coping mechanisms, that's a big issue. They can't go to the gym right now if that's what helps them when they're experiencing anxious feelings, because most gyms are closed. They can't go to church if, going to church and being with your church family is what really comforts you and what's really, helps you feel better. They can't do that right now. So they feel isolated, or some people might even feel trapped in their houses right now. I really, really agreed with what Caitlin spoke about, how she felt that with this pandemic, it will cause an increase in anxiety disorders in the future. So right now, especially if someone's already extremely fearful of germs, down the line, once this is all over, when we can resume our normal schedules, we can go back to our jobs, we can go back to the gym or to church. If someone hears someone else cough, they might get fearful and have flashbacks to what's going on right now and fear that that's going to happen again, or they fear that they have to quarantine themselves in their houses, otherwise they could get sick again. So I really liked Caitlin's insight on that. So overall, I do believe that this pandemic will cause an increase in the incidences and the severity of the symptoms of anxiety disorders. However, I do believe it's important to look at what particular anxiety disorder you're dealing with to ultimately say if this pandemic will increase or decrease the incidences or the severity of the symptoms.